Welcome to another episode of Conversations for Financial Professionals, where we are shaping the next generation of financial advice. And today we have Eliseo Way. Eliseo, you're a content creator on YouTube that mainly talks about content creation and monetization strategies. I love that. You're also an independent insurance and annuities broker licensed in several states. Interesting twist that we'll get into also. You aspire to create content that helps people realize and productize their intellectual property, as well as help others in their journey of reaching and maintaining mental and physical and financial wholeness. Welcome to the podcast, my friend.
Hey, thank you for having me. I appreciate it. I never take it for granted when someone invites me to their podcast because I don't get a lot of invites, believe it or not. People don't want to talk to me nowadays.
Well, we're gonna work on that marketing and creating some content that gets people on get you on other people's podcasts. We have a mutual friend, Heather Just Creator, Heather Ramirez. Her and Tom Buck tearing it up over there on the West Coast, and I saw some stuff that you guys did together, and I was like, definitely got to get this cat on. I mean, he has a lot of really good energy, and I would love to pick his brain around some stuff that I think is very, very helpful on how to create content that converts. So I'm really interested to jump into your story. Before we get into it, though, how have you been coping with this pandemic?
I've been coping. I feel kind of guilty. Because I put myself in a position for things like the pandemic and things like that to happen because, at the end of the day, I came out of the workforce, the traditional workforce, as far as clocking in somebody's job or driving to work. And I kind of came out of that whole field years ago. So it was kind of a thing where I was kind of already had this nest egg of knowledge and things like that. So when something like that happened, I was like, hey, we were already on the ark and the water came through and just kind of propelled us to a whole new level, me and my wife and my family. So coping, I can't even say that. I would say we are definitely grabbing the bull by the horns and we're excelling and thriving in this new economy, creator economy.
Man, I love to hear that. I think there were obviously segments of our society and our population that got caught off guard, but I have really heard a lot of positive things in this space, the financial services space, about people that were already somewhat doing Zoom or virtual and things of that nature and didn't have too big of a transition, and myself included. So I'm extremely grateful. Let's talk about this digital content creation journey with a background in insurance and annuity sales. Tell us the Eliseo Way story. Give us a little context and background for us jumping off into this topic.
Yeah, absolutely. So I just love to say my age. I'm 39 years old, born in 1982. I have a wonderful wife and 3 kids. My oldest is 8, 6, and down to 2. I just kind of like to say that kind of helps people get a better mental vision of who I am. Basically, to be honest with you, I like to tell people that I've been creating content kind of all my life, but maybe you can attest to this or maybe you can't, but the word content creation, that phrase, to me is new. It's kind of like within the last year or two, people like really want to content creators, content creation. But it's like if we're talking about just documenting our processes and documenting our lives, be it cell phone or be it journaling or be it some way, I've been creating content all my life. So I'm happy to have this new title as a content creator and whatnot. So maybe people can fastly identify with what I do and who I am. But really, I'm a content creator I'm an insurance broker with a content creation background versus not the opposite. So my mother, so just to tell you that quick story, my mother, she's in that industry. I've seen her make millions of dollars in this industry. And she told me when I graduated from high school 21 years ago, she said, because I had a scholarship for school, I had 2 scholarships for music. I was good in music. My whole family's good in music. And I said I didn't want to go to school for music. I said I wanted to start my own band, my own rap group, and which I did. That went really well. I worked with some of the best artists in the industry, T-Pain, that's my homeboy, and a lot of other guys. So I said that to say, my mom told me, okay, well, son, if you don't want to go to college, get your insurance license, because this is something that you can do on the side while you're running your music, and you don't have to work 40 hours a week. You can work however long or less you want to work, and you can still make money. I'm like, whatever. This was 21 years ago. If I had just took my mother's advice I would be retired right now, because I literally have homeboys who's younger than me, 35, and they're retired. All they do is travel the world and get residuals from their income, their insurance residuals and whatnot. And it's just like, oh, man. But hey, we live and we learn, right? So that's a little background of me as far as like, man, okay, I came from the content creation as far as music and performing. And then once I got my insurance license in 2017, so not even that long ago, I got my insurance license, and now me and my wife, we both got licensed at the same time. We mainly do like referrals. We don't really prospect. We used to prospect, but we don't really prospect no more. But believe it or not, we still get decent enough business from people who just know we do insurance, from churches or people who's retiring and whatnot. So we do good enough because we really want we want to use insurance as just that back, kind of like that back thing that kind of gives us some income, but we really want to focus on our businesses, and that's through content creation. And my wife is an author, and we want to start a family YouTube channel and just different things like that, as just all the creative stuff, and get our children involved in things like that. So I didn't want to go on too long with that, but that's a little bit. If you got more specific questions, I can drill down, but that's kind of like
I love that. I think you hit on something that I often hear from aspiring financial professionals, career changers, asking if financial services is something they can do part-time, as not the main thing that they do. And I go, well, first tell me your why. Like, why are you trying to get into this industry? Like, if you're trying to really go down the path of like CFP, that's going to be really hard to do, part-time. If you want to do insurance sales and you want to do other things to supplement your income, I was like, totally. So I'm glad you brought that out, because that's something that I'm asked all the time. I think just generally there's what I'm hearing from your story, and I would love to double click on this, is I'm hearing this almost potpourri or mosaic of different talents that you are creating content that showcases each of these. And that's, kind of your big picture is, I look at myself as a content creator that has all these different particular talents that I can showcase, whether, it's, as a family man, as a father, as this power couple, your wife's doing the author thing, and you've got music, all these things here. I wonder, why do you think people, because you don't seem like you've had a part with this, but why do you think people underestimate their life story so much when it comes to creating content? Because that's what your audience really wants to see, is your story.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm gonna touch on that. Let me just go back to a point that you made earlier about the financial professionals. There's two ways you can look at that business. You can, like you said, you can get in all in and go hard for like a few years. It doesn't really take if you do it smart and do it right, you can be a financial professional for really, maybe I would say 5 to 10 years, and really build your business up to where you could be semi-retired, because you don't really need to be retired from this type of business, because you're just, it's what, paper cut. What's the most you'll get? My mom, she's 60 something, and she writes tons of business, and she's semi-retired, right? Or that's the first way. You can go hard in the beginning and just like chill, or you can just kind of take the business with like, man, I'm gonna, like you said, to supplement the income. So I'm gonna write business as it comes, but I'm really just gonna focus on something that I'm more passionate, or something that I'm more fulfilled doing, but I still have the insurance to kind of make some income. So I want to step down on that, because I get that question a lot. And I think it's really important that people understand that it's no one size fits all. Yeah, you might have some guys over here that's doing it. I know guys that do 50 hours a week, 80 hours a week, but they make $500,000 a year. But some people are in a different spot in their life, you know what I'm saying, where they don't, that's not important to them. So they just want to, like me, write a few policies a week, good with that, but my focus is on now content creation and working for other businesses or working for yourself and things like that. So I just want to step down on that. But as far as answering your question about why do people underestimate their story so much, I think it's a few. I mean, if you bring yourself back on, I think honestly, bro, that's a loaded question. I mean, it's so many different ways. I think some side of people is they underestimate their skill stacking that they've been doing all over the years, right? And they underestimate their transference of those skills. They underestimate that whole thing, and I'm guilty of that too. And we can kind of step down on that because that's really important to understand skill stacking. And then once you stacking these skills through sometimes inadvertent experiences, you didn't even mean to go this route in life, but since you're there, you might as well pick up a valuable skill. Now, since you picked up that valuable skill, hey, it might be a skill that you learned while you were in prison, right? But you can't just say, hey, I learned this skill while I was in prison, so I'm just going to forget that whole side of me, right? And just say, no, that's not important. No, that skill you learned in prison is still $1 million making skill that you can transfer outside of in population and still make money. So I think to answer your question, sometimes people just want to forget their past or forget what they went through or some experiences that they got that skill through, and they underestimate that part. But yeah, go ahead. I'll let you talk. And
I think it's interesting you say that because what I've realized as a business owner, and I've been a business owner for the last 5 years or so, is that there was this mystique, especially in the financial services industry, when you get into this regulated world of, you got to say this, can't say that, all that jazz. There's an approach that I think we see as insiders to the industry, as well as what the consumers of financial services see. And it's this really button up, austere, kind of boring, if you will, approach. And I think that gets marketed to people. And so as a career changer or aspiring financial professional, you come into this industry and you think you got to do that. But that's what I found out. And I think what you're saying too is, when you're building your own brand or you're creating content, what people are after, what they're really buying is you. They're really buying you, not the product per se. The product's got to work. Service got to work. But they're really buying you. And so to really embrace whatever transferable skills you said, I love that the term you use, stacking skills, whatever you've done in the past that could be instrumental to setting you up for whatever future you're looking for. I think that you raise a lot of good points, and I don't know. I think maybe it could be just people just uncomfortable with it, like you said.
I love what you said about sometimes our past or experiences are actually giving us that edge into. Sometimes we look at a niche, but sometimes there's sub niches in niches, right? So your past, your experiences are what's going to put you in the sub niche of the niche, right? So I remember when I got into insurance, and I got my good friends now. Nothing against them, but they said, Eliseo, man, because I got locks. They like, if you don't cut those locks, you're not going to make no money in this business, right? They said, if you don't cut that beard, you're not going to make no money in this business. And these are good guys. These are good old boys. So this is what we call good old boys. And no offense, but that's just that's how they were brought up. They make a lot of money. So I get what they're saying. But hey, and this is not just for insurance. This is in life, period. We are all individually called to a certain demographic of people, and that's not just skin or background. That's just every facet of life, or every silo of life that we are called to. So I love what you said about our experiences giving us that edge in that sub niche or in that silo, and sometimes we can't deny that, because that's going to be the very ticket that's going to get more clients for us, or more eyes on our brand. So that was awesome, man.
Talk about maybe some things so we're talking about some things that people should embrace, their story, their past. What about some things they should maybe avoid? Because, a lot of my audience, they're going to be like, oh, rah, they're going to get fired up. They're going to want to go do this. I need to go do this. I need to go buy this software. I need to go, like, what are some things that, maybe that they should look out or avoid, or maybe just a right way to start? Maybe that's the best way to put that.
That's a great question. I actually get asked this question a lot, and and there's layers to that question as well, because I'm an analytical. But on the top layer, I would say really and truly and honestly, really be intentional about I won't even say what you're trying to do, because if you're trying to do it, you're already starting off the wrong foot. Be intentional about what you are actually doing, right? And that means put the pen to the paper, write it down, look at it every day, and actually soul search your way through all the fluff and all of the nonsense that you hear online, because so many times, if you're not careful, I won't say victim to it because it was inflicted, but I fallen down the path of just doing what somebody else is doing, or just going down that mode because they said do it, or we all click on this online gurus ad, and we end up buying their course, and now we wake up a week or two later and what am I doing? So I think the pitfall is, I think the thing that you're asking is, don't fall into the pitfalls of conforming to something that's totally outside of what you're initially trying to do. I think we have to reset every morning. When you wake up, just do a quick reset. Okay, what am I doing today? What are my non-negotiables today that I must get accomplished today? And we have to time block. Time blocking is something that is very efficient, man. Like, once I set 2 hours aside to do this task, I'm not checking social media. I'm not answering no calls. Time block. You will just see how much more efficient you are when you time block and be intentional about what you're actually trying to do, because we can easily be out here and be aloof. We can be aloof, man. We can be out here and just be going with the flow. And you can't, if you're trying to cut through this noise of all these people in this industry, you cannot be aloof and just going with the flow. You have to be going the Red Sea, the Blue Sea. You got to be in the Blue Sea. You can't be in the Red Sea, okay? Because that's where the competition, that's where everybody's fighting and fussing. You got to be over here like me with my locks, serving a different community in the Blue Sea. So I kind of get off on tangents, but yeah.
You're saying a lot of good stuff here. The frameworks that I've used before with the red pill and the blue pill and the matrix, the signal and the noise. I think, but all this centers around, and I've told my community this, I have a version of this now, but I was really, really disciplined and militaristic around this. When I first started my business, it was like the first part of my day, no meetings till 8, from the hours of between 5:30 and 8, I was either meditating, devotion, prayer, journaling, or something. Yes. Because I needed to be able to center myself for what I was trying to accomplish. Because at that point, it was like, you should do this. You should do this. You should do this. Yes. And like you said, you're getting distracted from all those different things. So what I'm hearing you say is, one of the very first things to do when you're creating content, or you're going to look for those people that you're called to, is you need to center yourself around why you're really doing this and what you're doing it for. Like, know what that is. Be able to, somebody wake you up in the middle of the night out of cold sleep, you're able to recite that like nobody's business. Sounds like that's what you're saying.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. You'd be surprised how many people they just, like I said, they just really don't know. And that actually translates over to their brand, and it translates over to their audience, because it's like, you don't really know what you're doing. So that's why your audience don't really know what you're doing. You don't really know what you're offering. That's why they don't really know what you're offering. So it's just weird, but absolutely. I love what you said about waking up, being very intentional about your day and how you started off, because how you started off will dictate the day. And then how you start that day off will dictate the week, dictate the month. Everything is a ripple effect. And what I like to say is, we have to, not sometimes, but in my opinion, all the time, we have to act like there is no neutral in life, right? Take neutral out your vocabulary. I know there is a neutral, but just for the sake of argument, right? Act like there is no neutral. And that comes down to what you eat, what you do, who you talk to, who you relationships, business or personal. There is no neutral. So you have to ask yourself, is this interaction, is this business partnership, is this thing I'm about to do or invest in, is this either going to help me or hurt me? Right? Because so many people fall in this gray neutral zone. Well, I don't really know, so I'll just try it out and see. Well, now you just might have set your self back a week or two, right? Or a month or two, right? So just sometimes with your life or with your content, act like there is no neutral. Either this is good for me and it's going to progress me, or this is bad for me and it's going to take me backwards. And I think you will begin to make smarter decisions when it comes to every area in your life when you do that.
You brought up something that wasn't what I was going to ask, but I have to ask it now. What are your thoughts around some of the distractions we see? For instance, when you first start your channel on YouTube, let's say you decide to go there and you start at 0, just like everybody else. Maybe you call your mom or your cousins and everybody kind of subscribes, but there's nobody there for a little while. It's crickets, right? And so you're creating content, you're being diligent, nobody's showing up, and you're looking at that like button, and you're looking at that subscribe button, and nobody's really showing up. Like what do you feel about what I call vanity statistics? What are your thoughts on those?
Okay, so I heard where you were going, but you kind of confused in the end. So, what are my thoughts on vanity statistics, like vanity
Yeah, do you
metrics,
think this
or?
is something, should I pay attention to this as a new content creator? Like,
Mhm.
you know, what are your thoughts, or what would be your advice, I guess, to that person that's looking at that subscribe button, or that, you know,
Oh,
that like button
oh,
that's
okay.
not doing
Yeah, I
anything?
got you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got you. So, this is what I like to say, and I can use my mom as an example because she started her YouTube channel. She's only got 50 subscribers right now. She's only got 50 subscribers, and she's been doing it now for about a year. Not really strategically or not really intently as she should, but now it's starting to click, and she's starting to see it. Oh, and she's starting to get more views on her videos. But I said that to say it's the perfect time, right? When you don't have a lot of subscribers or a lot of views, you also don't have any excuses or any distractions or any reason not to really black out, as I say. Because when we
Mm,
really get into that creative zone, we black out and we don't come back until it's like, oh man, that was nice. And now let's look at the monster we created while we were blacked out, right? While we
yeah,
were in
yeah,
the zone, as they call it. So when you don't have any subscribers or views, bro, just get in the zone. Like really focus on the content that you want to create and create from the heart, right? With passion and purpose. And then once you get in that zone and look up, you may have 100 subscribers, 1,000 subscribers. That's what so many people do. But as long as you're sitting back looking at the subscriber button or looking at the views, then honestly, you're not focused on the content. You can only be focused on one of the two. Either you're focused on
mm,
the subscribers and the views, or you're focused on your content and what you're really trying to convey to the world, right? Because we have this unique, I say all the time, we have this very unique opportunity, and I have to throw this in there. The internet is not old, my friends. The internet is only 25 years old, if that, right? So you know how many people in the year 3000 are going to look back and say, man, I really wish I was around in the year 2021 when they were starting YouTube,
mm.
when they were starting YouTube channels and starting all these brands like Amazon and Bitcoin and all these different things. They're gonna wish they were born in this time. So we're here now.
Yeah.
So forget the noise, forget the subscribers, work on some revolutionary, life-changing, legendary, generational changing content that you can put out and that can have the ability to change the trajectory of your life if you just get focused on your content and not the subscribers. So that would be my answer.
No, I love that. I was just saying to Heather, I did her 1 to 100, from 1 to 100 podcast, and I said the internet is new, and this is not just from me listening to a lot of Gary Vee, which I do, but it's like if you think about contextually, like some of the other stuff that's been around, like we are early in the game. Like this is a
So
land
early.
grab, and for people to be like, "Oh man, you know, people are already on the internet talking about that. I can't do that." I'm like, what are you talking about?
What?
Even if it is the same thing about a Roth IRA or how to open up an HSA or whatever, it's your take on it. Nobody's
Yes.
heard your take yet. So I think, I mean, I love that you give that level of
The
encouragement
whole world is
because,
not even on the internet. Can you believe that?
yeah,
The
so
whole
there's that,
world,
right?
the whole world is not yet on the internet. It's only I think the last thing I seen was like 40% of the whole world is on the internet. That's
Wow.
what Mark Zuckerberg he's trying to do. He's trying to get the rest of the world on the internet because believe it or not, the internet has not even made it to the whole world. So just like if you were one of the first people, I like to say imprint. We have the opportunity to imprint on people. Like when a when
Mm,
a when a child is born and when they see something and that's the first thing they see or hear,
yeah,
and that person owns them for life.
yeah. It's
we have
glue.
the
You're right.
opportunity we have the opportunity to imprint on other human beings our content, our thoughts, our ideas. And if we sound like we at least got some common sense, we will have them hooked for life, and they will bring on their crowd and their listeners and their followers. And that's how you get these Grant Cardones and all the big people, because they just imprinted, and then everybody who they imprinted on brought their crowd over as well. So we have that opportunity right now. Absolutely.
So, is there a reason that you chose video over all the other platforms out there? Maybe you're on other platforms, but it looks like your main thing is video. So, I'm a big proponent of video. I'm wondering
Yeah.
what your rationale was when you
So yeah. So
chose you
so two.
not particularly YouTube, but like since you are
Yeah.
on YouTube, why video?
So two things on that. The first thing is it was the only thing that I didn't have down. It was the only thing that I didn't understand. I
Okay.
had the music, I had the branding, I had the crowd, the following, I had all that stuff, but I was doing it, kind of haphazardly without video. I didn't really have the video piece down. So that's why I had to figure the video out. I'm still figuring it out. I'm getting there, but I'm still figuring the video out. Believe it or not, just since the pandemic, I have started taking video more serious, where I got a DSLR camera or a mirrorless camera with a nice lens and some lighting and trying to understand that whole thing. But that's the first part, is because I didn't understand it. And I knew for me to progress my mission that I had to get video down. And the second part is the reason why I chose videos, because video is the only thing that you can take everything else from. You could take the audio from, you could take the repurposing of the mini clips from, you could make a podcast out of the live stream, which you already know all this. But yeah, if you want to start with something, start with the main thing, and then detract whatever else you need, depending on who needs that, who needs what, right? So it's like, oh, you need that, okay, there's the audio. Okay, you need micro content, okay, here's that. Okay, you need this, here's that. And you can only really do that from video. So that's why I chose video.
Are you ready to accelerate your progress? Are you ready to make the leap into the financial services industry? Maybe you're about 12 to 18 months away and you want a sneak peek on what it's going to be like. I got you covered. It's called the Jumpstart Accelerator Group. These are individuals that are looking to make the leap into the financial services industry in the next 12 to 18 months. And what I'm going to do to help accelerate your progress is I'm going to pair you with one of my professional development program cohort graduates. These are people that are just like you, probably a few steps ahead because they've already gone through the program and they are already on their journey. They can share their wins, they can share their experience, they can share their perspective with you. And they're gonna do this inside some mini coaching sessions. As you go through that, you're going to really understand what it's gonna take to make the leap properly. All of this, and I'm throwing in some lifetime access to some bonus trainings that I think are really gonna help you get started. For more information, check the link below or send me an email to hello@jumpstartcoachinglab.com. And now it's time to get back to the conversation. It's so funny. I've talked to hundreds of financial advisors to help them build their business, consult with them, coach them, mentor them. And there's still this fear around video. And I get it.
Wow.
Some people are saying, I'm not really made for video. And I totally get it. And I talked to another colleague and she was like, I'm just going to say this. If you're not on video, you're missing out, because what you just said, it's 3-pillar content. You have the video, you got the audio for a podcast. You can get this transcribed. AI is getting so good you can just put a little bit with like something like Jarvis or whatnot. And now you've got a blog content that you can throw out there. So
Yeah.
there's just so many, you become so versatile if you master video. And what I will say, and let's see if you agree with this, what I've noticed is I haven't mastered video either, but as you do it, it's like you get better with practice. And so your level of confidence with conversations, just interacting, that skill transfers over so well. To your point about this skill stacking, getting good on video transfers through all these other areas of your life. Would you agree?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's one of those skills. Like my friend Cody Askins, he's a huge guy now, but he was one of the first to start in my opinion, to start like on video in the financial world and like life insurance and all that stuff. And now his YouTube channel is at like almost 40,000. And what ends up happening is you started out your YouTube channel or whatever your video mission is to just educate your potential clients or your prospects. You started out to do that. And let me just educate my potential clients and my prospects. Let me educate them, give them value, so in hopes I can get some business out the deal, right? But what turns up happening is, and this is the most remarkable part about what a great time to be alive. Now your content that you just put out to educate people, now that turns into an income generating machine because on YouTube the CPMs in the financial realm is all upwards of 30 to 40. Sometimes I got a friend, he gets around $50 per milli right on his content, and he has a small channel. He's getting a couple $1,000s a month off of his small financial channel. So it's like that's a second piece of it that you didn't even realize you were creating a nice thing there. So but also I wanted to say too, is you were talking about like creating content and people getting getting on video in the financial realm. And I will say the financial industry, in my opinion, I just thought of this, is probably one of the biggest no like trust industries ever. It might be the biggest no like trust industry ever. You're messing with people's money and their health and their nest eggs and their legacy, their all the things they've been working for years. What better way, right, to get your no like trust factor, exponentially faster with people than for them to look in your eyes, see your idiosyncrasies of how you move and how, because that's how people figure out if they no like trust you. How does he blink? How does he turn his head? Like all these subtle things, they get to see that. They don't have to guess that now over the phone or over a blog post. They get to see it firsthand. So now a sell for me, if I'm trying to sell, if somebody's retiring and I'm turning 65, Eliseo, I need you to roll over my $500,000, IRA into like a annuity, right? This is $500,000 I'm going to do. Like, you know how many times I got to go back and forth with this person over the phone? There would be like a 10 appointment sale, right? Or it would be like a 20 appointment blog post sale. But no, it's literally a 1 or 2 appointment video call. I get to offer what I'm going to offer, give them their options, right? They go talk to their partner. Well, I like them. Come back on the next call, and now I'm selling it. And that I just expedited that whole process because I'm doing video, if that makes sense.
No, it does. I mean, I've been married 24 years. And my wife, when I first started my business, I was doing, I've told this story so many times, my audience is going to be like, oh, he's telling a story.
I haven't heard it, audience.
But the point is she goes, in her infinite wisdom at that point in time, this is the reason why the Lord gave me her. She goes, let me get this straight. So you want people to trust you with their money, but you're not showing your face? And I was like, wow. So I immediately went into video. That's when I hired Heather. I was like, I need to get this thing down because that's a good point. And I think financial advisors in this financial realm, as you call it, they do well to take that piece of knowledge, no matter what the hurdle, no matter what the obstacle you want to try to throw out there. The no like trust factor is expedited through video. I've had so many clients that have said, yeah, I was on your website and you were the first website that I saw that just had a bunch of videos for your FAQ. And I felt like I knew you. And so by the time I got to the appointment, it was done. It was done. So
I'm going to tell you, when I knew that I did the right thing. You know how when we make decisions, you're like, did I do the right thing? You don't really know. But when I had a client tell me after I did like an appointment, a video appointment, because I'm a virtual agent, so I do everything virtually. I pride myself on that. I do everything virtually. I came out of knocking on doors. And I've actually had guns put out on me. Wow. I kid you not. Get off my effing property. I had a gun put out on me. And I said, that's when I heard God say, you need to go virtual. And then a year later, the pandemic happened. I had went virtual a year before the pandemic. But that's a little backstory. Yeah. But I'm going to tell you, when I knew I had made the right decision is when I helped the client and she looked at me and said, Eliseo, you have honest eyes. And I had never heard that comment before. I said, excuse me, honest eyes? She said, I like you. You got honest eyes. And I said, man, that's when I knew that I made the right decision, because she would have never seen my eyes. I don't even know what honest eyes mean. I guess they're the window to the soul, right? So I said, wow. So that's when I knew I made the right decision. So that's what you give your client the opportunity to do. Look you right in your eyes, right? And look you right in, see your background, see what you're doing, see how you're scratching your face. All this, why is he so nervous? What's this nervous tick he got? I don't trust him. So
no, you raised some good points. And granted, you might need to get you a video coach. I'm a big investor in coaching. I highly endorse that, but it's not going to be perfect at first. You're going to feel uncomfortable. The technology is going to be maybe clunky, and you're going to have to learn it. But if you put that time in, oh my gosh, it just pays so much dividends. Okay, so I want to pivot
real quick though.
Okay, ahead.
Real quick, I want to say lean on the value then, right? So if your technology isn't there, if everything isn't perfect right now, guess what? When you're giving people immense value, when I'm talking to somebody about Medicare, right, and they don't know what Medicare is, they don't care. At that point, they don't care how great my quality is or my audio. They don't really care. They want to know, what is Medicare going to do for me? So for anybody out there who wants to get into the financial, realm of video, then lean on being super knowledgeable about your products, your services. Be so knowledgeable that they're not focused on what you don't have, right? And then slowly over time, you'll build your setup, you'll build your quality up to blow their mind. But just lean on the fact that you know your stuff at first.
No, I think that's great advice. I think that because there's so many things that you're like, I don't have this, I don't have that, and it's almost like, to give another biblical reference, Moses is like, what do you got in your hand? Okay, you got that.
Wow.
Right. Go with that.
Yes.
Go with that.
Oh, okay. You're a man of faith? You're a man of faith?
Oh man. Oh yes. Oh yes.
Oh man. Well, we can
we'll
talk all
go.
day,
We're probably going a whole nother tangent here with that. Let me ask you. Let's give some tangible stuff before we get into this lightning round. So, I don't want people to get so inspired that they go and break the bank. Like Heather and I are real famous for saying, just use what you got, right?
She's
like
a minimalist.
The cell phone in your hand, right? So maybe can you give some tips around maybe some starter technology? So let me just provide a little bit more context for this. So I started with Zoom, then I went to StreamYard. Just recently, Tom and Heather introduced me to Ecamm, and I'm like, oh my gosh. I wasn't even on Mac. I went from Windows to Mac just to get on this.
Me too.
So that is probably, version 301 or 201 for something. But like, what's some starter things that people can do? I know you've created a lot of content. You've helped people with this, and you probably get this question a lot. So what are some elementary level things that people can implement and get on video if they're sucking this in and taking this in?
Yeah, definitely. So I'm just like you. When I got introduced to Ecamm, I went from PC stuff to Mac stuff. It's retarded, but it was worth it. But before we talk about gear though, or tech, I have to ask you, what are you saying? What is your message? What is your point? Who are you trying to reach? Because that so much overshadows and overpowers what you have or what you're starting with. Because I know too many people, family members of mine, that have nothing but their cell phone, have behind lighting. It looks horrible. It sounds horrible. And they have hundreds and thousands of subscribers. Because what are you saying? Who are you talking to? What is your message? That is so much more important. I got to 10,000 subscribers on my YouTube channel with my cell phone. Right. And now that I have all these cameras and stuff, it's a year later. I haven't even got 2,000 subscribers because guess what? I've been spending the last year trying to figure out how to use this stuff. I haven't been focused on the content.
Gotcha.
So I can give you some practical stuff, but I'm probably going to sound like Heather at this point. Use what you got, right? And focus so much more on the message, who you're trying to reach, the content, and how you deliver it. Focus on that. But you can absolutely use your cell phone, absolutely use free software like OBS. I use that for years. It's absolutely free if you want to like live stream and things like that. It doesn't cost a thing. It's a little learning curve that you're going to spend some time learning how to use it because it is free. It's like an open format software that many developers mess with, but it's still powerful enough for you to do screen shares and do tutorials, do screen recordings, also do webinars. You can do all that stuff in free OBS. You know what I'm saying? So, that would be what I say, man. Start simple. Most people already have enough. I was talking to my little cousin. He called me, and I'm just a no nonsense kind of guy, right? So if you want to, he's like, cuz I want to do YouTube. I want to do this. I said, well, you're not going to get no bubblies from me. Like the nice pat on the back, cuz. But you know why I say that? Because you already have everything you need. You're not going to get a big old, spill from me. You got a dope cell phone, the newest one. I know my uncle has cameras. I said, cousin, you already have way more than most people have. There's children right now in third world countries. One of my virtual assistants is 15 years old. He's one of my virtual assistants. I've helped him make over $100,000 in the last 6 months, right? Because he does like graphics for me and all these other people that I kind of connected him with. This child don't have half of the stuff that these kids in America got. You know, he tells me all the time, Eliseo, man, you helped me get a new computer. And I'm looking at this new computer, and it's like, that ain't even new. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I kind of went off. I kind of went off on a little tangent a little bit, but I just have to get into people's mind, man. If you want to get into this, you already have enough. Start. Prove to me that you really want to do this by starting right now with what you have right now. Now, once you prove to me that you really want to do this by starting right now with what you have right now, then come holler at me. Then we can talk. Yeah. But if I don't see a few videos from your cell phone and you getting better with this and that, then don't even holler at me, because I already told you start right now with what you have right now, because I'm not going to waste my time. So yeah.
That sounds like some advice I gave to an advisor. I was like, okay, so the easy route would be to, you know, you're prospecting, you're opening up your business, you want to get in front of people. Okay. Mm-hmm. The easy way would go buy some leads or send some cold emails, you know, low touch. You don't really invest that much and it's a numbers game. Mm-hmm. Or you could pick up your cell phone, go live, first of all, tell people you're going to go live every Friday, answer the biggest financial questions they got. Wow. Ask me anything. And hang out even if nobody shows up. Just answer some questions that you're going through on your CFP study stuff. And just do that every week for the next 6 months. And if you don't get any clients, then, you know, I will know something. But I've been doing this for too long that somebody's going to pop into your feed and they're going to go, hey, you said this about so-and-so. Can you give me a little bit more information about that? And then you start that know, like, trust that you talked about earlier. Wow. But you'd be surprised how many people would not take me up on the ladder. It's too intimidating. I don't want to go. I don't know if I can show up all the time. What will I talk about? Do I need to do it on my personal page or my business page? You know, all these different obstacles.
Give you a question for every answer. I just gave you the answer. You gonna give me another question for that answer? No, I can't got time, my brother. That's why I love the Mr. Miyagi approach, and that's when the Karate Kid, and I love that because he said he wanted to learn karate. Right? You want to learn YouTube. Okay. So I'm finna start you off doing the hardest thing, man. I'm gonna start you off doing the most almost degradable thing that you can do. You know, pick up this phone and call 100 people a day. Or get on your, like you said, I love what you said. Get on YouTube or get on your live stream and do it every week. Every week. Do that. And I promise you, I tell people all the time, if you make 100 calls a day, you won't even sooner or later, you won't even get to 100 calls before you realize, man, I'm getting better at my tone, my dialect, my pace, my tempo, my pitch, my spiel, my knowledge. I'm getting better at this. You're only getting to 20 or 30 calls before you got to sell. Yep. Right. If you start your live stream, you won't even see that you an hour in no more. You'll be 10 minutes in and you got a lead. Right. So I love what you said. Do the hard stuff first. And I think that's the thing that I had to learn. Do the hard stuff first. Get that stuff out the way. And if you do the hard stuff first, everything after that is a breeze, man. You like, this is it. This is it.
And you might even start hitting some of your goals before you have to implement any of that other stuff. So I think
projection. Yeah, absolutely. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Love it.
So in bringing this thing in for land, this is so great. There's so many rabbit trails I could hop down, but I'm going to
we got to do this again, man. We got to
I
will tell you, I had a guy gave me an idea called minority authorities. It was for minorities, for also like just, you know, people of color, that because it's such a disparity in the financial industry of people like us, knowledgeable, who actually understand the financial industry, that are actually willing to put themselves on camera. It's such a disparity of us right now. So I started a thing called minority authorities that I didn't really follow through with, but it will just be getting more people together in the financial industry that actually people of color or whatnot that actually don't mind getting on camera talking about different financial things. So I just love that you got this going, man. So keep.
No, this is going to be. I would definitely want to do some collabs in the future. I think we're going to continue to expand this. I've built and I know you have the same on your side, but like I've got this super friends of financial gurus and PhDs and practitioners and all these different people that have these different walks and takes and perspectives. And I've been trying to think about a format to bring us all together to share that knowledge, because I think it'd just be so rich. So
love it.
Definitely will keep that in mind. Let's do a quick lightning round as we bring this thing in for a landing. And I'm just going to ask you Which do you prefer and why? You can just kind of throw in why real quickly to honor the lightning round part of it. I think it just gives some insight to the audience as to, oh, I was thinking about that. Okay, well, good. This is what Eliseo says, or this is what Dominique says. Okay, so podcast or vlog/videocast?
Videocast, without a doubt.
For all
Why?
for all the stuff we named earlier, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, because now you can deduct what you need when you need it, how you need it, right? You can't add it after it's done. And you might have I love to tell people to just go for it because we all have a stroke of genius, right? We all have it. God gives us all a stroke of genius, right? So you may have a genius moment on your podcast, and it would have been wonderful to have that in video form, but you missed the opportunity. You just missed the opportunity. So, hey, at least you got the audio, but if you start with video cast or whatever, you can always deduct or add what you need later. So yes, absolutely, video cast without a shadow of a doubt.
Yes, I agree, sir. Live stream or pre-recorded?
Live stream, absolutely. The reason I say live stream is because you have more opportunities, right? So there's nothing wrong with pre-recorded because I do both. But from my experience, why I say live stream is because you can actually do a live stream and format it to where it looks, now you do all the same editing that you're going to do tonight, or where you're going to do all that same editing, and now you have a live stream that you gave a wonderful experience to live viewers, and you gave you gave a wonderful experience to people who really follow your camp and your tribe. You gave that great experience to them, and now since that experience is over, now you can come over here and edit that same live stream, make it nice and concise and cute and neat, and as much, now it's a pre-recorded video, but now you just got two experiences out of one, right? So it kind of goes back to the same concept of, you can always deduct. When you do more, you can deduct what you need later, but if you don't do the more, you can't add it back later. So why I say live stream is because there's a specific way you can format your live streams to later then be like a nice pre-recorded video.
You bring up a good point. I have somebody in my community that was saying that and I did this actually too. They live stream because they don't have time to do the editing. And I did that I live stream every week last year, and it was a good experience for me. I like it. My take is I like it for the spontaneity. You get questions if you choose to do a question and answer format, and you can really show your knowledge on a particular topic and things. And I do love, obviously, that experience. It's like going to a concert, right? You go to whatever group you like back in the day, and they're the concert, and they're singing the songs, and they're singing the one that you like, and it's like you're right there. So no, I like it for that reason too. But the pre-recorded seems like they take more energy from me. But go ahead.
A little bit, but also on the live stream, the replay people are not going to be feeling all the side talk. They're not going to be feeling all the shout outs, right? So that's only for the live viewer. They get the shout out, they get the specific question answered, and we owe that to our audience, right? If you're going to give up time with your wife or your children to be on my live stream, you deserve that unique experience. But now for the replay squad or the replay crew, I'm gonna cut out all that fat. Like Ecamm gives us these recordings, we can go in there, import it, and cut out all the shout outs, the intro, the outro, and we can make a nice package video to now upload that to YouTube. And once again, you got two experiences out of one. So that's why I say live over pre-recorded.
No, I'd have to agree with that. Best platform for new creators, if you had to pick one. IG.
What are the options?
Yeah. I'm going to give you the big ones. Facebook, IG, YouTube, Clubhouse.
Okay. For new creators. Okay. It's going to go back to my answer about video. What's the video platform? Right? Because now I can, if I go to the video platform, I can deduct the audio for Clubhouse. I can deduct the short form for IG. I can deduct the pre-recorded or make an edited video for Facebook, right? So I'm gonna say YouTube, and not only for that reason of what I just gave, because you can deduct all these other things for the other platforms, but because this reason right here, right? And I did a video on this, on why you should be using YouTube over all these other platforms. And it's called Optimize, Organize, and Monetize, right?
Mm,
YouTube is built around optimizing your content for the entire world, right? Somebody wakes up in the morning, brushes their teeth. Man, I need to check out some life insurance. Guess who's channel is going to pop up just because they didn't know who Dominique was before they
yep.
woke up the morning. You're not going to get that on Instagram. You're not going to get that on Facebook or Clubhouse. That you have the power of search, like, to that point.
Yeah.
So optimization, organization, YouTube allows you to make playlists and just really get really specific and dialed in with your content on how you want to organize it,
Yeah.
right? And monetize. There's some monetization features, but not like YouTube. YouTube, when people search you up, you already got the know, like, and trust because they search you up and you gave them the answer that they need. So now they're going to buy your products. They're going to patronize you. They're going to get services. They're going to do all these things because it's built around that whole experience for them on YouTube. So without a doubt, YouTube, worry about the rest later.
No, I was just telling a buddy about this that is wanting to, kind of step up or level up his video game. And I was like, you need to do a YouTube channel. He's like, well, I was like, look, I was like, I'm a witness here. Like, I went from where I was to where you see me now purely off my whole community grew from one YouTube video just about.
Wow.
And so it's like you have these algorithm soldiers that are playing in your favor, marching in your favor while you're asleep. I was like, there's no reason why you need to take that off the table as the second largest search engine in the world. So I was like, you just need to make it part of your strategy.
And I love what you said about that. The lifespan of the content on YouTube is the longest. These other lifespans are literally days, weeks, sometimes months, if that, right?
Yeah. It's got to be really viral if it's going to be months.
Yeah,
to your point.
YouTube years. I mean, you can have a video from 2010 pop up right now and it'd be relevant, serve your purpose, and you got a client from. I like to tell people, and I'm pretty sure you heard this before, your videos on YouTube are little employees. They're little workers working around the clock for you. So when you wake up, you just have more leads, more clients, whatever. Yeah, love it.
Yep. Last but not least, Android or iPhone? I think I know the answer to this, but go ahead.
I'm on Android.
Really?
You talking about cell phone? I'm on. Man, did you see you ain't seen my video where I zoomed to the moon 100 times, 100 zoom to the moon. Did you see that?
No, I haven't seen that. I have to check that out. Okay.
So we had a full moon last week. I took my Android phone, my Android S21 Ultra, and I pointed it to the moon and I pinched it and I zoomed in 100 times. And you see the moon so perfectly and clear. I had friends on my YouTube channel saying, I could have swore I seen people walking around up there. That's how good. And I said, now do that with your iPhone. That's what I told my friends. Do that with your iPhone. Now, if I'm doing video, if I'm out here doing video, right, I want the best video. I want the best apps for editing. I want the best, ecosystem of applications and other things I can do with memory, storage, and all that. And for me, that's Android. Now, that's no knock to the iPhone people. I love my iPhone people. But for me, my workflow is built around Android all day, 100.
Wow. Okay. I don't see that often where somebody like yourself, where you're converted from Windows all the way to Mac, but you're an Android user. That is very.
The only reason I have a Mac is for Ecamm. That is it. That is it. I was editing my videos on my cell phone for years. I was editing my videos on my PC with Filmora for years. Now, remember I told you, the last year I haven't really gained any new subscribers because I'm trying to learn how to use Final Cut Pro. I'm trying to learn how to use this camera and the lighting, so I took a year just to learn. But if I can kind of do it over again, I don't know if I would do it, bro. But I'm glad I'm here. God is stretching me, so that's more important. So yeah, absolutely.
Oh wow. Okay. Interesting insight. So there you have it, audience. Go choose from the plethora smorgasbord of information that we've given you here. Eliseo Way, this has been so great, man. So now, as you know, this is a podcast to help empower tomorrow's financial professional to, let's call it, level up to serve their client at that next best, highest use. In that context, what word or words of wisdom would you leave with the audience?
Yeah, I love what you're doing here, and I love the purpose that you set forth. And I would just tell people, not everybody is meant to be in front of the camera face wise, but everybody is meant to add value and give to their community and give back to their prospects and potential clients in some way. There are other ways that you can get on YouTube. You can just do voiceovers, right? And do slides. You can do PowerPoints. There's plenty of ways that you can still give value to the community at large and see that kind of like trickle back into you. So I don't want you to leave thinking, man, I got to get on camera now, because you should be the know, like, trust, look into the eyes. But if you're not that person, think about how you can still do video, right? Or live streaming or a podcast. Do something to where you can get in front of all these millions of people. There's millions of people every year coming online. You want to put yourself in position, right, to make that imprint on all these millions of people coming online. And you can only do that if you step out and just start to do it. So that would be my last impression for you guys.
No, I love that. Just go do it. It's almost it's the Nike slogan. Just go do it. Go create.
Just do it. Just do it.
Heather says the same thing. Like, matter of fact, this is her slogan. Just create.
Yeah, just
right?
create.
She's got it in her name. So you just get out there and do it, and don't worry about the I guess the consequences of that or what people think. Get out there, put your voice out there, put your place in the world, and let the rest kind of fall in place. So. Oh my gosh, this has been great, man. We'll definitely have to have you back.
Yeah.
Really looking forward to future collabs. Really
Absolutely.
good energy.
Likewise.
with this conversation. I wish it can go on, but I'm gonna respect the time.
I appreciate it.
Really appreciate you, man.
Yeah, no problem. I thank you, sir, and I look forward to coming back on the show.
All right, take care. Bye-bye.
Yep, you too.
Hey there, thanks for watching. If you are an aspiring financial professional trying to make it to the next level, make sure you join me inside of my free community where we can continue the conversation about this topic and other things to help you make the leap into financial services. I'll see you inside.